Is there a municipal court tomorrow?
Yes,
It's gonna be delayed, I guess,
no,
but he's got court in Greenville in the morning.
who?
Jim McElroy.
I guess he'll be here.
The officially 6:30, after it's officially 6:30, we're gonna call this meeting to order. Today being August 17th of 2022 is a special session, budget workshop, if everyone would stand for the invocation of budget related.
Father in heaven, please help us as we go over budgets tonight, that we may be able to have our minds clear and active, that we may be able to address the money issues and do things that are appropriate for the city, that we may be realistic in our estimates and our guides, that we may be able to try to save money when we can and to use money wisely. Father, help us to have our minds on the people as we do this, that we may constantly think of their needs. As we do these things, thank you for the opportunity to serve the people of this city. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, announcements. Anybody got any announcements?
I am glad to see that we did change our mind on the Zoom meeting. I think that was a good idea to continue the Zoom meeting.
Well, and you know, we had something the council can relook at. Let's see what options.
Well, there might be something easy. I'm sure you can just record it over there and then do it the next day.
Well, that's what we thought before, but have we had a problem with it? Man,
You don't have
we don't know whether it's gonna retain that information download.
You don't have to use Zoom though.
No, we were talking about maybe live, basically live.
Just any kind of recording,
Yeah.
just like my phone. does.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea that we've been doing it. It's kind of
Kind of hard to go back.
go back when you've been doing it.
Anybody else got any announcement? Moving on. Number 5, citizens input. Is there any citizens input? Mr. Hanson? Yes.
Yes, sir, I'll be
Did
real
you
quick.
sign in, by the way?
Not yet. I can do that. I didn't want to interrupt.
I
That's
understand.
I just had a couple of quick questions. I know you can't answer directly now, but I thought it would be nice to get it on the record for the recorder. And FYI, I appreciate that you're apparently I guess you flip-flopped about doing the Zoom meetings. I'm glad that you're going to be to me, it's the only form of open and transparent communication that I see from y'all about what's going on in the city. I mean, it's just, it's all that's out there. So I'm glad that y'all are gonna keep doing it. I think I think Hunt County just bends over backwards to help people, but my question is, and I finally found your notice of the public hearing on the tax increase, and I'm glad that y'all have it posted here. I just found that the numbers just don't seem to be right with the numbers on here, on your announcement, don't match with the certified totals from the appraisal district on the certified roll. So, I mean, there's a discrepancy there.
Is that an extra copy or is that your only copy?
I'll give it to you.
Okay, that's what.
I mean, y'all have it. It's just,
Well,
I said I'm gonna send the information to you. I just wanted to tell you that
Gotcha.
it's an error. The other thing that I have, and I guess I kind of have a heartburn about is based on this, and I hope it's wrong, but according to this, y'all are This tax increase that you've announced is 9.25% overall. I know last year y'all had $480,000 about, it was your net budget. And this year it's 523,000 or almost, 523,384. So I mean, that's some pretty serious increase from the prior year, but it's
The rate is decreasing.
rate doesn't have anything to do with it. And I mean, I really don't want to, Look-
Here's how much we charge each individual.
man,
And if
There's
you're
a-
charging a point
We
three
need-
nine,
That we can't do this.
so I forgot.
my point is, and I'll answer your question, ma'am, but there's a direct relationship, inverse relationship between how high the appraisals go and how much the debt get to the 103.5 number that goes for the maintenance and operation. If the opposite happens, if the values go down, the bottom falls out, which is, it's about to, it's, this bubble is about to pop. And when it comes back down, those rates will come back up. It's y'all have a guaranteed 103.5% of your maintenance and operating budget every year over year, you get an automatic 3.5% raise. Guaranteed, every tax increase. That's what SB2 does. It used to be 108%. And they cut that out, but anyway, and then that also doesn't include the figures. I'm glad that I've got this. I wish I could have seen it before tonight, but the only other question I have and concern that I have is that in your property tax bill that your TNT that you file, you're financing a truck, heavy duty truck and excavator for, and I assume it's for the sewer and water department out of the property tax funds. My question and concern is why aren't you paying it with the water? That's, you don't have to answer me tonight. I'm just, if somebody can get back to me and explain why you're doing that. And if you're telling me, I hope you got a better answer than we're gonna rob Peter to pay Paul. We're gonna, because that's not right. But that's a serious concern that I have. Thank you. I've probably gone over my 3 minutes. But
You're good.
thank you. Oh, one other quick question.
Huh?
And you don't have to tell me right now, but when are we gonna see the audit from 2 years ago?
Well, we're hoping by
You
the,
don't have to answer me. I don't wanna,
okay,
it's not, that's not right. That violates the timeline.
okay. So just to summarize, the trucks and a big purchase out of general funds. And I've got the, okay, is that it? Is that all you got?
Yes, I said this.
Well, I was right.
Can I make sure I got this written down correct as spoken, sir?
Yeah,
So the numbers on the tax rate and what was announced or posted do not match. And then financing the trucks out of the tax fund other than water sewer. And then audit from 2020 audit. Is that,
No, sir, the 2019-20 and then the 2021 audits, they're both over there.
thank you.
anything else? All right,
Make sure I wrote that.
moving right along, we're just gonna jump into the water proposed budget. As you see, what's Annette has done has made it easier to read with the colored ink. And so I guess we'll just take this around the room. Has anybody got any input on anything that they may have seen?
Just some questions along the line.
Are we gonna do page by page, line by line, or kind of jump around?
Okay, on the first page,
Okay,
on number 1252-116,
Garbage billing.
Garbage billing. I know that we've only taken in $162,134.67. Why is it $20,000 higher?
Well, we haven't completed our year.
This is only up through July.
Okay, and do we think we're gonna make that amount?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that was the only question on that one, and then.
It should increase year over year too.
And-
Well, I say it should, it
Yeah.
will because of new construction.
Right.
And then 1252112. That seems kind of high, chief, for road boards. Were we expecting a bunch of new roads that we're gonna put in boards?
Yes, ma'am.
We're
One of the-
we're expecting what they say about, it said 60 new homes. But we're kind of averaging maybe around 60 boards.
Well, it's looking like it's gonna be a lot more than that, but what we're not trying to overcount what we think it's gonna be, so if we just say 60 to 70 new homes.
You think that?
And one of the things that we're trying to do is get away from tearing up the road. We want to get the roads fixed, so road boards keep us from tearing up the road.
Actually, I've got a list here that I've talked, there's 2 houses on Hilburn that are 95+% completed. There's 2 on Cove Drive that are completed and sold. Red Oak, 99% finished and sold already. There's 3 in the Indian Oaks that they just started. There's 4 on Hemlock that's about to start. There's 2 in Indian Oaks awaiting 911 addresses. And then there's a total of 60+ in the Indian Oaks subdivision over several years. It's not gonna happen right in 1 year.
Net on garbage billing, you said that was through July, So,
Budget, yeah.
so that would be October.
August and September revenue will be coming.
Okay, so that would be October through July, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so if you do the math on that, on a 12-month period, we actually should come in about $194,561.60.
We are trending. on
Yeah.
it, Yes,
So I mean, that's a very conservative number.
And our,
and we try to be conservative with every number.
and also the, or is the revenue that's gonna be coming in for the next 2 months are the high usage months, so the bills will be high too, this anticipated.
One more on that front page. I know we didn't get any septic dumping fees last year. Are we geared up to get those this year?
We're close. I don't know that we'll make it by the end of this budget year, but by the end of this year.
And this depending on that sludge dumpster, right?
Sludge
That's what we're
dumpster
gonna
and
have.
corkscrew, there are certain things the state says I have to take those trucks. And we're close, but we're not quite there. And I'm not gonna do anything until I have these things in place.
Right, because we don't want to be
Right.
on the other side.
But isn't that dumpster?
That's
Causing
that's
the
a
biggest
key
delay?
part of it, yes.
Okay, we tried to call and get a BO and set a price and get a check cut
In the morning.
in the morning. Okay, so we should have it in the next few weeks. Or
They
what kind of
say,
lead time are
they say 6 to 8 weeks.
6 days.
So that means we should be up and going by the end of the budget.
That would be great.
That's the thought.
That would be great.
That's the thought.
Yeah,
The button on the right, fast forward.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Really do.
let's see. What, look at the poly cards on, 1252117. We had an actual, this is 2122.
Oh, yes, I have that marked too. That looks like that number's wrong.
Yeah, it's a typo, I believe.
It's the word of
It's $300,000 difference.
accurate. Yeah.
So it,
Extra 4 in there or something.
There's something in there.
yeah,
That was Mike caught one more of my errands on that. and-
I missed that one somehow.
He said, well, that's not right. And, yeah, we'll get that corrected.
Okay.
good. Anything else on the income of water?
I'm really concerned about the expenses on fuel.
Well, that's been a tough one.
I know it's getting tough when they look low to me compared to what I'm thinking is gonna happen this year.
Well, again, I'm trying to be conservative with it. I don't want to overreach, but I don't want to cut myself short.
Mhm.
And so. We on page two.
Yeah, page 2, down in 126,110. Dot 1.
I'm on 1261103.
That's equipped.
Oh, that's overtime.
It's overtime.
So
We're
we're,
looking at.
We still- That was overtime.
Sorry. So you got to take into account that this year we had Frontier come through town. And within about a 90 to 100 day period, I pretty much burned through my overtime. So with that being said, I'm thinking next year, we're not gonna have to deal with that. Frontier's already here. Spectrum has already agreed to put everything in the air. So there will be no boring for them. With that being said, I mean, who else is gonna come to town unless it's gas? You know? So with that being said, I don't see our overtime needing to be any higher than that.
Great. Good. And then 1261110.
126 what?
1110. Equipment fuel.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah,
Equipment, fuel, sewer.
water. And sewer.
Oh, yeah, yeah, water,
I
sewer.
mean,
Well, again, you know, at one point, I think we were paying almost $6 a gallon for diesel.
mhm.
So that kind of shot us. So I don't know, diesel's been holding steady here lately. So, you know, it could go up, but my thought is it's probably gonna stay around the same number,
You think
I think.
It seems like a low number to me.
It does kind of seem hard to me too.
And if you look over that, if you look to the left
Yeah,
on
it's
the.
equipment. Let me interrupt you, Mayor. So the grader was the biggest part of that fuel expense, which is gone.
We got rid of it?
Yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it was the biggest part, because we do have our vehicles, but
But that's all they did.
That's
fine.
equipment.
You know,
This is
this-
equipment.
well, I can tell you right now that if we'll all be serious with each other and look at this, we've got to do a better job of allocating or making sure that we're putting these things to the right line items, because we're real lopsided right now with water and sewer.
We are.
And it looks, everything I've looked at, we did a better job than we did last year. We found a lot of this last year. And I think we've done a better job this year than we did the prior year of making sure things were hitting the right line item. But that's super important when it comes to this time of the year and being able to budget. And it's really more important for you guys when you are trying to get these proposed budgets together. It's easier. It makes your life easier. So then it's an actual cleaner budget when it comes to the table. So I would urge us to try to, I don't want to say slow down, but be more meticulous to make sure that whatever we're spending is getting applied to the right line item, because it really makes life a lot easier at the end of the year and at the beginning of the next year.
I'll do better. When I look at equipment fuel, you know, I see $4,000. But I'm thinking water and sewer together.
yeah.
But I hear what you're saying. I need to be.
And that applies to everything across the board. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're buying toilet paper or you're buying trucks, you know, I mean, and, you know, taking it from one end of the spectrum to the other. It's, you really have to be, to have a real nice P and L, to take a budget and your P and L match up well together. You have to make sure that things are flowing to the right line item every time.
There's a few in here where I saw I had some opportunities. I'll work.
But I agree with
If we
everyone.
combine the two of them, it probably ends up being about right now, which is, looks like we kind of have.
It's still over about $1,300, but
Well, look at mine, 1, 2, at the bottom, fourth from the bottom, contract labor water.
yes,
We had budgeted this year 26,000. The previous year was 28,600, but we came in under at 23,500. Was that, I know we had a big jump on this line item a couple of years ago when we had snow, or whatever you want to call
Well, you
it.
had some additional contract operators.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at the point now where I'm about to take both my Bs. Once that
Do it.
happens, both of my B license,
Oh,
once that happens, I no longer need any contract.
right. I know we're paying, are we still paying 1,000 a month for that?
We're still paying Mark Barnhill,
Yeah.
the operator.
Okay. And I guess that other line with the other real expense, looking to the left, I guess that took into consideration. The contract labor that we had back around the Snowbird day.
Yes, well, you had 3 separate contract operators.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah,
Then when I came back, you no longer needed 2 of them.
yeah,
So that brought that cost down.
yeah, we can't do away with the one yet.
We're about to though.
Well,
This also includes our meter reading in that contract.
oh, you're right, it does.
It
yeah.
does, which I did an interview with him today. So I'll get with you about that.
So,
So
so we've contracted all these things out before, and you're saying we're not gonna need that anymore, and that's the
Right.
reason the budget.
if I can,
calls for
if I can save money in a payroll aspect, I want to save it. So, because I'm gonna need it for the combined payroll. So,
This stemmed from a little bit before your time when they, on that snow, the week long of.
Yeah, I remember that. I
Yeah,
remember
that,
that.
we were paying $6,000 and $7,000 a month, was it not?
yes,
That was correct.
Any other questions? Concerns, comments on page 2?
I think when you look at the fuel overall, it'll be okay.
yes.
If we try to make sure we zap it to the right line, that way it makes it cleaner at the end of the year, easier for everybody to forecast to do whatever.
Right.
And it actually helps you know what you were doing throughout the year. You can kind of gauge what you were doing throughout the year
Yeah,
by looking at your different line items.
right, and speaking up to that, if you notice the first 4 or 5 line items, deal with, vehicle fuel, both water and sewer. And, you've got some of these numbers in red, and then this what today.
The reason I put those in red is only if you look up to the side of the actual what we spent up through July. Because those were concerns really, I mean.
Oh, the actual on 21, 22,
Yes,
Mhm.
that is quite a bit of a drop. What would cause that?
Well, the vehicle fuel is one, that's what we were
Well,
talking
yeah,
about.
well, I did, if you look at the budget year and then look at what I'm proposing, I took it up another $3,500.
Yeah,
okay.
okay, so he spent 11,000 some odd this year on the vehicle fuel for the water department, 5,500 for the sewer. But when you combine the 2 of them, he's saying that it is much more than what the budget said. We only said he was gonna spend 5,000 last year, and obviously he had to spend more than that, so he brought it up from the budget last year. And
Well, if you think about, a year ago, gas prices went through the roof, everything started going through the roof, and I didn't have the foresight to see that happening.
well, none of us did. I remember it was $1.50 a gallon.
I mean, I knew it was gonna go up a little bit, but I didn't expect it to go up that much.
Nobody.
My other thought to it is we do have 2 new trucks that are very eco-friendly and have eco boost and eco save on them, so they're much more fuel efficient than some of the older trucks we're getting.
Dropping down to 126, 1132 garbage fees. I guess I see that now. I'm just wondering why the actuals from the previous year, are what they are. I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong line, I was looking at, insurance, but still on that same one. The garbage fees, we, had budgeted 160 and the actuals were 82.
Well, my thought is we're gonna come right around to what, probably the $100,000 mark. Net.
We've got two more, like I said, we got 2 more months. And this does not include the polycarts. You see the polycarts are down below.
Right.
So it's probably going to be, I would say maybe. It may be closer to 30,000.
Well, I would say that the new,
But I anticipated, more expense because of the, new homes.
Yes.
And everything that's gonna be coming in.
I think 160 is too high. I think last year we were thinking that, based on how things were shaping up, that there would be more homes by now than there are. So this year I'm a lot more conservative in that area, but I think 140 is more realistic than 160.
But last year also, we were not tracking the polycarts, the way they were billing us. That,
Well,
so.
if we're just going on garbage fees alone and we take our actual,
Mhm.
we'll be right at 100,000.
Yes,
With the customers that we have now, the citizens we have now.
Right.
So if we add citizens, I mean, I'm not sure we're gonna add $40,000 worth of citizens in garbage fees.
I think it's at least 2200.
That one,
So what do you want, try to put that in?
well, I mean, previous year, we obviously way overshot that. Yes, I mean,
At least 20.
I think 120, that's gonna give us $20,000 more than what our actual is right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, yeah.
What we're
Look at it, Phil.
forecasted to the end of the year will be 20,000 over.
Yeah,
I mean, that's gonna be adding quite a bit, I would think.
yeah.
When you really think about it. I mean, I don't know what we would talk about if we were saying how this works out per each customer, what we have.
We have,
Well,
that's what it's saying.
Garbage customers, only have around 1,100, customers,
1100 even.
but that's not,
Yeah, we
all-
did.
that's not all garbage. Because we do not have garbage in Quail Run, they do not, garbage trucks wouldn't go down,
So if we just called it
so.
an even $100 a piece per
Per year.
right?
Yeah.
For the whole year, if you called it $100 for the year.
Still not even 6, so going with 120 leaves the thing.
Yeah, that's what I would get.
Yeah.
So,
Kim just said that the last bill that we just paid on the garbage, we paid for 782 polycarts.
Wow. It's the use of them
That's, some people have 2, some people have 3
with
polycarts.
that, right?
and carts, the poly carts, in my opinion, don't seem to hold up very well over time. So just throwing that out there. The wheels tend to break after, a year or two.
I haven't seen that yet.
yeah, that's good.
I mean, most of the ones we're replacing wheels that broke off or, the lids come off somehow or another.
We would just call them and deliver some more. or
We
whatever.
call them and tell them, hey, we got this many damaged cans, so they bring us.
So 1261132 garbage fees, we're gonna bring that to 120.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
I think so.
also, going back up a minute, 1261123, professional services, attorney and engineers.
I don't know. 126. Yeah, okay, I'm with you, yeah.
Okay.
This is,
I know it's part of it is McElroy. But that's a lot more than what,
we're
Well,
just now, we split the year, we're just now starting to pay him out of the water.
out of the water. So you do 6 months out of one and 6 months out of the other?
Mhm.
Okay. And so how much does he charge you a month?
2,000.
2,000, so we're looking at for 6 months, 12,000 right there. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Okay,
It's a little bit more perspective.
yeah, because looking at it, you go,
Yeah.
what's the difference?
Well, that's the difficulty when we do these budget workshops. We still have 2 or 3 months left and we're doing a budget. We sometimes fail to take that into consideration. And we may make a mistake.
So I think doing the same math on 1261133 polycarts.
Yep.
If you do the same math, that probably needs to be about 65,000. We're a little shy. there.
Little shy.
Because if you do the math right now, we're at 62, 110, 663. That's what we
Where
forecast.
you getting that number at?
Finish. Well, if you take our current number right now, divide,
Actual,
divide
51
the
set.
actual, divide it by the 10 months times 12.
Oh, okay, okay,
You're
okay.
gonna end up, the year should end up at just a touch over 62,000. So, I mean, conservatively, if we put that one at 65, we probably should overcome that. Yeah, so that kind of,
that'll help balance it back.
yeah, it kind of gives us a little bit back there.
So we're gonna move that to 65, you said?
Yeah, I think you had to.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Uh. Anybody else got anything? I don't have anything else on this page. Anybody else got anything?
So on 1261139, utilities water. What does that entail, that line item?
That is the, actually, that is the water and the sewer. This is for water plants, for our lift stations, all of the utilities.
So we're just kind of.
It's,
saying
this
it's gonna
is
go
none
up
of the
just a little
park,
bit.
this is none of the parking, part.
So that one should stay pretty flat, right?
Mhm.
So water, sewer, so water and sewer is combined there. There's nothing on the sewer line.
And it either, yeah, it should balance out.
Yeah, it should be, that one shouldn't change a whole lot, right?
Did anybody have any questions about 1261141?
I was speaking to.
Or 41.1?
Big
Oh,
difference.
yeah.
Well, maintenance supplies, parts water, maintenance supplies, parts sewer, so both of those kind of,
Inflation.
Everything's gone up.
I figured on that one.
it has gone up.
But we've had, we've had a lot of price increases on the parts. And it doesn't include vehicles, does it?
No,
No,
Okay.
no.
Yeah, the parts is going up, what, 30%, I think we talked about.
Now, I went ahead and kept that at 30 for this next year. But that's based on the fact that I believe that we're not going to have any outside sources coming in and boring up and down the highway and all throughout the city. I believe that's over with, so I should be able to. maintain-
we're gonna have to make sure that if somebody comes in and tears something up in our city, we're gonna have to make them responsible. We're gonna have to stay on top of that and make them, any city you go to, if you go to any city, anywhere, and you tear up something in the city, they make you pay for it.
Yeah.
I mean, the contractor has to pay for it. So we just have to make sure that if that happens to us, that we don't sit on it. That we're very, very, very proactive and we stay on top of it. If we keep our finger on it, people and get paid for it. And then we should be fine because whatever the damage is, it's a wash. They pay us. We're not trying to make money. We just need,
Right.
we just need to fix it first. And to be quite honest with you, if we get into that situation, I think it would be a very, very good idea for the city. Because it's gonna be kind of hard for you to try to track labor, this, that. If we get in that situation, we need to call somebody in that's able to come in, right? Contractors can come work in our city. They have to be licensed, they have to have all the stuff. So I would tell you that it'd be a good idea for you to get you a network, and you probably already have somebody, you probably already know somebody, we probably have a contractor on our books. When this happens, we keep something at bay and we bring somebody in. And once they get here, we back off and let them fix it. We carry on with our normal daily tasks. And let that contractor pay this contractor to fix their screw up.
Yeah.
And I know that can't always happen,
Right,
right?
Right.
But there's a lot of situations where it can happen. And like, again, if us keeping something at bay for 2 hours until the other contractor gets here and works for 10, that's a benefit for us. Because then our people are not getting stretched so hard, and then all we're looking at is we're gonna capture, if that happens, we're gonna capture how many ever hours it took our people to do that task. But we don't look at the impact that it has on the next 3 days
Yeah.
of
Yeah, they
productivity.
still gotta show up for work.
Right, the next 3 days of productivity that we get out of them because we suck so much life out of them on this one major, gotta stay after it for how many ever hours task. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Nah,
Plus, it would be so much easier when we're turning in an invoice to someone for damage to our city to show that invoice and say, this is what we. want
Right,
you to pay
here's
for."
the invoice from 123 company that fixed your mess up. Thank you, pay them.
That is
You
good.
know, I mean, we gotta realize we're not a huge city, so sometimes we've gotta make that judgment call. Say, okay, we're gonna have to stop here and let the others come here.
Right.
Because that takes that off your plate in some ways too, because you're running the crew and trying to catch up with everything else that's going on in the city. You just don't have time to do it all.
I can tell you right now, they are worn out.
I know.
We just, what I'm saying is we need to be creative on that. We can't let the one task, more especially when it's a task that's not created by the city. If it's somebody else creates it, we have to make sure that we utilize the best we can, because if we stick on this task that wasn't created, wasn't normal, then other tasks are getting left behind.
Exactly.
And I would just, to wrap this up, make one comment. I'm sure you guys have noticed, but like the leak that was on Rabbit Cove, you know, that one night we worked all night long.
Mhm.
Those guys went home and slept for 1 hour. They came back and worked a full day and started chasing leaks that entire day, all night into the next day. So they all got about 3 hours of sleep in almost 4 days. So keep that in mind, if you would, please.
So on 126-1140,
Hold on just
go
a
ahead,
second.
Chris, go ahead.
I have to ask. So you have an actual 71, are you sure that 30, you feel comfortable with that?
I
Still
struggled
on.
with it, Chris. I
Oh.
struggled with it. Initially, the first number I put there was 42. Then I took it down to 38, 35, 32.
So you took it down to level out your budget, right?
Yes.
So we just moved 5 up there. Cause you went 140, 120, and then 50 to 65, so you got an extra 5. Maybe you ought to think about moving that down there and bringing it to 35. Or more. Or more,
yeah, because
but if you took it down that low, just trying to budget. You had a 71, 724 actual, that's a big drop.
It is.
Mhm.
If you guys would be willing to give me 35 to 38, that would make me feel more comfortable.
I mean, you got it right there,
Yeah,
without
we
changing
got-
anything else, we just moved 5 up there.
yeah.
So if
well,
you take-
actually, more than that.
Mhm.
We moved,
Well, we moved 20.
Yeah, you went
We
down
took
20 and then up
Ah,
15,
yeah.
so you've got 5.
So if I could put 35, that would help.
Let's do it.
I definitely feel like that's a smart move.
Okay.
Me too.
Thank you, Chris.
35.
All right, sorry, which one were you going with? Kevin?
One suggestion, and I've never heard y'all's do it with any of the contractors that have come to this town. There's a wonderful tool, it's called a performance bond and insurance. I don't know why y'all don't require those if you've got a contractor coming in that's tearing up our, obviously that would be a
Yes, sir.
Are we on the next page?
I think-
No,
Not
126-1140, equipment purchase. What are we anticipating there?
Well, originally last year when we did this, the thought was I needed 35 to cover, new equipment. Well, I've got the new equipment, so the 18 would be to go towards another truck. But I have to sell equipment and trucks to compensate for that 18.
But that's not on your,
It's on here.
is it on
Well,
the
we've got-
front page?
On the front page, we have equipment sales, $10,000
Yeah.
budget.
Mhm.
For some reason, I'm not seeing it.
That's on the.
Oh, I see it, I see it.
And by the way, that number is low because if you look at the trucks we're selling, most of them don't even run. And the ones that do, The doors are hanging on for dear life, so I don't expect or anticipate to get a lot for the trucks. The water tank or the tanker truck, I expect to get some decent out of
What
that.
about that diesel at Will's point? Have they taken it back? or-
He drug it in the shop.
Yeah, it's
Said
in
it
their
won't,
shop.
he said it won't start, won't do anything. So
So
now the decision will
Gotta
be
figure that.
a new engine for it's right around 32 to 35,000.
Yeah.
So probably TML.
We wouldn't be
going
doing
to
it.
total.
That's-
Yeah,
Insurance.
yeah.
That truck was stolen.
Yeah,
So it's,
So the insurance.
insurance makes the decision.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's why it's in the shop to get an estimate, so,
now if they put it into, figure that too.
no, they'll total that.
Um,
Al, that's a 2016.
2016,
Yes.
and the sad part is we just paid it off last year.
So I guess that's realistic. We just gotta figure out where that other 8,000 is coming from. That's not gonna come from sales.
I was hoping to have septic dumping going as well. Compensate for the rest of it, but we're pushing that to the line. As far as next budget year, if we're septic dumping, that changes everything.
Well, we can hope we're gonna have septic dumping. We gotta make that up.
Yeah.
But that's what
yeah.
I'm saying,
A
and
realistic goal.
when you look at some of the projected numbers if we do this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think, honestly, we won't know anything until we run a year.
Right.
We're all kind of shooting in the dark.
Yes.
You know, we're all running out in the dark blindfolded with a gun and shooting, trying to hit a target,
Yeah,
because we've never done it.
you're right, exactly.
Within a 3-year period, my hope is to have enough staff that I've got staff working on roads
Yeah,
all the
I mean-
time, working on.
But yeah,
Needs
we've
working
never
on.
done it, so we don't know what that's gonna be. Okay. Sorry, I don't have any more questions. on that.
My big question is the 1261157.
126,
Station repair.
Oh, goodness.
Is that enough?
That
No.
looks like a low number to me.
That's
I
a
was,
low number.
that one I was trying to meet the budget as well. I can tell you this, we have 5 lift stations right now that I better do something this next year.
It probably costs $30,000.
Kim, how much did it cost for the 2 pumps for number 8?
$7,800.
That was for 1 lift station.
Mike, if you'll look at the.
And we're
bottom-
changing those pumps ourselves.
Yeah,
Yeah, instead of what we
Very last
did.
time you got five.
Got
that need to be done.
We had excess of 18,000
What?
That'll help.
yeah.
last page. We had a net income of 18,000.
Well,
Oh, I see.
I was gonna say we were 10,000 off. Easy 10,000 off. Just from the conversations that I've been privy to
Yeah.
with our lift stations. I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're at least 10,000 off on that line.
If we're being fair, yeah, I think a fair number is right around 40,000. It's give or take a couple thousand in either direction.
You move that whole 27, that puts you at 45.
The whole 18.
It's,
Yeah.
what line, give, 1153?
1157.
1157.
So you're at 27,
Yeah.
you move the 18, that puts you at 45.
Well, let's not move the whole 18 and just move 10 and make that 30.
It's more realistic, but
I think I'd rather we go ahead and put 40 there.
Well, if I can hold on to that other 8 for another 1 yard and a couple of cars, that'd be nice.
all right, so
I don't think I got any more.
You might, we're not done.
so that's, you wanna go 40?
Well, how about this? How about 38? Because my number is 37, bottom number. On lift station repairs.
That's, I mean, from conversations I've been privy to, I think
38,
we were 10 off.
Yeah,
38.
So,
That makes it a lot more realistic. Okay.
Okay, 38.
I think it does. You know, we could add that to 126-3206 because the building's probably gonna fall down next door. Still now.
they're
It's on the
out
next
there
page.
Jackson.
That doesn't say,
I was just having a little fun. I was making fun.
I thought they were out there jacking.
Better stop it.
Oh,
No.
actually, this was for
no. It needs to be gone.
the problems that we have here. It's, with our water and sewer lines, our sewer is.
And that's the base.
It is, we're gonna have to dig up the backside of this building. Cause those lines are 40 years old
Yeah.
and they have problems.
Or go to-
40.
Go to dump.
And add another.
Well, we'll talk about that part, but we got sewer nets coming through our lines now
We do.
into the offices
At the building.
and they bite.
So if we do have any left, we need to put a little more into our sewer line out there.
Yes,
Uh,
ma'am. And another back.
There you go.
Yes, it. City hall building. What are we moving that to? From 750?
So you had 11, you want to move it all there?
No, I think,
Well, we might find some more here, guys, if we look on the cell phone, 126-1164. I'm trying to figure out, what are we anticipating there? Cause are we gonna be,
Cell phones.
There's
126,
$65.
1164.
Yeah.
Yeah.
65, but
That's
we got a good, right, I think we got a heck of a lot better rate. Whenever
We were supposed
switched
to,
from, I guess,
we're supposed to be government.
I know, but what, were we commercial or?
We were
residential?
commercial. Government is supposed to be better.
that number is gonna not, it's gonna be what it's gonna be, right? It's not like we pay extra for anything, the number's gonna hit the same every month. And
Well, for me, the reason why I went that direction is only because John was looking into switching to what was it, AT&T? Because AT&T, which I'm not a fan of, I had it for 15 years, I left for Verizon.
just trying to keep names.
With that being said, they have those cell phones that have the walkie-talkie capability.
Oh, like next to.
You don't have service here. with it.
Yeah, well, only thing I'm getting at, to Michael's point, I don't think we've actually got completely switched into the government
Yeah.
stuff, because we should have went way down.
Well, what happened, we had a sales lady, and then she did not complete this, and it switched over to somebody else now. So we're still trying to make sure they give us the government.
Okay, and so I've actually been part of that government stuff before, and I know that the cell phones are super duper cheap when it comes to getting phones through.
$20 a month.
Yeah, it's, I couldn't remember the number, but thank you. It's like ridiculous.
I think they told us.
So what I,
Unlimited,
Unlimited.
yeah, it really is.
Every one of our trucks set up.
Yeah, and you also get, what's it called?
Right, we get priority status
Priority status or whatever.
when everybody.
Yeah, it's on
loses
there.
it.
So
Something goes down.
if everybody else's phones go down, they're gonna work.
Yeah.
Okay.
The reason why I'm bringing this up, guys, is if I remember correctly, we were still under I don't know what it was. Regular, whatever, like basically if I went and got phones.
the business.
The business account.
Yeah. but-
So what I'm saying is, and every dollar counts in what we're doing. I think we have to make it a priority to push our provider to get us the rate that we deserve. We're a government entity. We should not be paying a business rate. So we need to push our people to give us what we're deserving. And this number right here is way high.
Yes.
Okay, because right now, if we take our trend, reaching in at $3,019.20.
Yeah,
And I'm only looking at the one line, I'm looking at water. So, this is gonna be the same all the way across the board. So we should finish, and this is at our current rate now. That probably cuts in half, I would think.
right.
If
So
we
you're
get this-
saying we would be more along the lines of, 2000 and 2000 or 2000 and 1500 versus 35.
Possibly less than that.
I think even less.
I'm thinking right now, we're at 3,500. We could easily cut both those numbers in half, and
Well,
still be safe.
You look at the.
But we have to make sure we get our provider and say, look, you still owe us this.
Right.
And somebody's gonna have to pilot that. But
Well, it wasn't that far off.
How many phones are there?
So the water plant operator. Little
There's
superintendent
18 lines right now for Frenchie
total.
All their frontier.
You mean Verizon?
or Brad.
Yeah.
When Spectrum comes to town, they're pretty cheap.
That's what I heard.
I've got Spectrum, but they use the Verizon network, which is good for down here because my phone works great. I had AT&T for 30
on
years.
your cell phone,
Yeah,
really, I didn't know that.
but I may be wrong, but until they get everywhere, I got it through my business when I brought in Spectrum to the store, then they offered me the cell phone.
So, we're,
And Kim, that 18 is PDN.
Right.
Right.
okay, so even still, then we don't even need total.
Yeah, cause then
Yeah.
you just get the AT.
Yeah, so we don't, if it's 18 total lines, here's what we need to be
But
realistic.
not all those are coming out.
And so this is gonna open your eyes, Chris, I'm glad you knew the amount. It's,
It's not that amount.
Go
It's
ahead.
not
Kim.
what we're being told.
no, it's what we should be. getting.
It should be, we should be pushing it. If we can get it, there's no reason we can't get it.
Yeah,
Well, I'll call Ricky tomorrow, but that's not what he put Tuesday, because Tuesday is when I found out Katrina had never switched us over. The person had never, the sales rep had never done us under a government like we thought she had done, what, 2 months ago?
Yeah, she told us she had switched this. and she
maybe we
did.
didn't make these people come.
That makes sense. I agree.
So.
What are they-
About a third.
Fire station.
Oh, 30 or so.
we do.
Okay,
If,
well,
if they
so let's do
call that person. they're like,
How many?
Well, 18 total, 30 times 18.
Almost 6,000.
I don't know, that's not what we're getting charged now.
Okay, oh, I know.
That's what we should be getting charged.
Right.
So even if we did 30, we're at 6480 for our whole city.
Right.
We've got almost that much money. Well, no, we do have that much money in our line items right here for water sewer.
Yeah, we got 60.
So-
Yeah.
So let's just
Which
say,
didn't include the whole 18. You're not figuring that.
Right.
Okay.
well, no, I am figuring the whole 18. That's what I'm saying.
You know, he figured the whole 18.
How many do you think should be
So
in this?
times, let's just.
7, and that includes my.
Okay, I did 8, so that's 43,000. So let's just figure $4,000 between the two,
Yeah, it'd be 2,000 each line.
right? I mean, this is a budget. I mean, we don't have to be, it's better to be as close as possible,
Yeah.
but still.
So we're gonna go 2,000 on each line.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck on this. I think that's more realistic, but we have to get that right.
So you just say what, 2,500 bucks?
Yep.
So
Seven down there.
Any other questions or comments on the rest of it?
I think we,
I think we wanna go, huh?
yeah, I was gonna say, I think we want to go back to City Hall budget, building maintenance and.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
3206.
So we think that's low, any idea?
At 4. We could easily add another 2,000 to that.
Yeah, he split it 1,000 and 1,000.
Yeah.
Does that sound fair?
So you want 1,000 on each one,
Adding 1,000 each one, making
Adding.
it 1,750
Yeah.
each one.
Yeah.
Right,
adding.
yes. That should cost.
So adding 1,000 to each one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Maybe 17.
And then we still got another 15
So
over.
you'd be.
Yeah, I'd rather be over.
Mhm.
It's 500 off that other.
And. Are we on the last page?
Not yet.
That's it. Oh, we got something else in here?
Well, I mean, if there's no other questions or concerns, we can move on from this page.
Okay.
Did you get that?
I'm good.
That's
I'm good.
right.
That was-
The building maintenance was the last big thing.
I do need to bring up one thing. I'm sorry to hold this up. 1261153, and also the .1
Hang on.
mowers pumps.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
2-6.
So I need to flip flop that this year, and the reason why is, we have an issue down at the Headworks, and I'm gonna need to replace it. Yeah, and the cost to replace it was this past year,
That's
25,000.
1261153. And
That for the-
0.1.
Yeah, but that's the one we're having.
Okay.
So do we want to swap that around?
Well, we're gonna take it and try, but the 750 is the one the state says needs to be also. 1,000.
Oh, change
So,
it to about,
yeah, so in last time I checked, a year ago, it was 25,000. I can only imagine what it is now. So what I want to do is put 27,000 for water and then put 6,000 for sewer.
So we're taking the water from 8,000 to, what was that number?
27,000, which
And
makes.
what about the 1.1?
8,000.
.1, we're gonna take it down to 6,000.
Okay, 6.
That keeps it balanced.
Yes,
that's-
because on this particular line item, it really serves the sewer plant. I have a line for lift stations.
Yeah.
Okay,
This
okay.
serves the sewer. plant.
I was just saying, I guess the 8,000 came from what you said, well, we paid almost $8,000 for those two pumps.
Right,
I was like,
but this is for,
I guess my brain was saying, no, it needs to be 8, that's why 8 came out of my mouth. I'm like, he's saying 6, and I heard 8, did you get it?
well, lift station repair, that's.
Okay, all right, cool.
But if you guys will grant me that just for this year, 27,000 on water and 6,000 on sewer, that keeps the same numbers. I don't go over, under. And then that helps me take care of the issue of the water plant.
The phone's on top of our landline, right? Sorry,
Mhm.
going back.
Oh,
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, yeah. I'm not gonna hang my-
Wait a minute. What do you
How's that working, Mr. Leon? Well, no, on the link, is this like, you get this combined now with Spectrum or whatever it is, whoever you
Yeah,
say?
it's Spectre, but they use the Verizon network,
Cause I think,
but it's a lot cheaper. It's about half of what Verizon charges.
but there's no home line.
No. But they do have it when they bring their,
That's
cable.
what I'm wondering. if-
Oh, yes, they do.
We don't have
Here's and do fiber at the
I'm
plant.
wondering
It's
if
like
we
the traditional phone.
we switch over to fiber, if we end up switching over to fiber, or we don't have any savings, I guess we figure out.
Well, you can get landlines with those.
I never know what that cost is.
Is this one line for each, one phone line for?
The water and sewer.
Water plant has 1, 2, 3 lines. Sewer plant has 1 line.
So again, at the station, I pay $20 a month. One line. So if you take that times 4. Times 12,
What do you think, Nat?
I think we're paying way too much there.
Yeah, we're not getting the rate that we
Nope.
should.
Yeah.
I guess you just, I mean, it's disappointing that these providers don't say, oh, you're a city, you get this. I
Well,
mean,
that's
It's like
Frontier
anything.
for us, isn't it? In the Frontier that provides this.
For those
For the
ones
pumps, yeah.
here at City Hall, it's different.
But I think with what's coming in.
Does this cover City Hall, or if that comes up?
No, this is.
I think with what came into town, we probably need to look at switching over to.
Yeah. I think so too. This is
So-
a lot cheaper.
We use just some phone company. Just, I don't even know what it is. I'd have to look at that.
Is it an internet phone company?
Yes. $20 a month.
that's where we run into, sometimes we run into problems. We've been hearing, all of us have, we lost power, we lost everything.
Yes.
We lost phones, we lost
Some days,
power.
Yeah,
it's
if you
not
lose
me,
power, you lose
but
it.
sometimes we come in and we have no phone service all day long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that happens at the plant too. And that's not good, because the automated system's got to be able to call.
And I don't think, I'm speaking for, Annette and Kim and everybody else. I don't know anyone that's fond of, phone.com.
No.
And we cannot replace these phones. We can't replace these phones.
Yeah, so,
You ought to be able to get a cell phone backup for that at the plant.
The current system I have, No, sir.
Okay, so it's kind of hard to tweak that number because none of us know what the cost for, say, if we went with
I mean,
a lane line, whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess we need to leave that alone, but it's probably a good idea for us to look at
There might be options.
changing, upgrading, whatever, right?
I
Well,
might
I know
look
y'all have-
into, I might look into what Leon just said, because the Omni system
And I know
has
y'all
to
have a lot of
have
trouble.
a hard line. But I'm sure there's other systems out there that don't require a hard line, but the one that Aaron bought during Snowbird or whatever it was a hard line Omni system. So if something happens to the phone line or anything, it won't call. You know what I mean? And that happens from time to time.
Well, we have,
And I bet it can be put on there. My alarm at the store with ADT.
Well, this is different than.
Well, I know, but even if all the power goes out, the cell phone will still call.
Yes.
Well, that, my ADT at the plant's the same way,
Yeah, they got.
but my
battery
Omni
backup.
system is a completely different.
Yeah, the alarm system has its own battery backup, battery built.
Well, at least you know the power was off, either way.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we can't, I just want to make sure those were landlines, but maybe next year we'll find that we.
we really need to look.
Maybe we find that we have $2,000, $3,000 left.
Yeah.
If we can get switched over within this year, we'll just end up some extra money in this budget that can be put somewhere else.
All right, now are we moving to the last page?
the, line item 1263214. Which is called the pad, that's the planning and design of the sewer plant. This will be paid off August of next year. So we won't owe that 13,800 anymore.
Is that
The rest of them are like 40-year loan.
okay? But I don't have any money under that line.
On what?
Yeah, there's nothing.
1263214.
Well, there's two of those same numbers.
Dot one,
Yeah,
The
go down
dot
to the dot
one.
one further down.
1263214.1.
I see, okay, here,
Yeah,
there we go.
same thing.
And the rest of it is pretty much set in stone. I mean, we're not gonna go over budget and pay more than the USDA grant.
Let me explain on this, where you see the Chevrolet, the half-ton
Yeah,
vehicle
that was.
Okay.
Hang on, okay, I see it now.
that's out there to the side,
Yeah,
okay? This vehicles, they came into play before we had the money. So I called the auditor and I said, how does this work? He said, you just have to do a budget amendment. Because that money is coming into our account. It will be in the account for this Friday.
is that the hard money?
That's the money. No, this is the money that for the
INS.
INS.
Oh,
That
yeah.
for the two trucks that we just bought. So
Okay.
we had to pay for them. And so we'll do a budget amendment. We'll do it in and an out to balance the budget.
We'll do that.
We'll do that our September meeting.
Okay.
We have to do a budget
And
amendment.
did I ever send you the RDO?
Basically to the point where.
I did today.
You did.
Yes.
Then go ahead and do this.
That
Yeah,
will-
we all
that'll
know
be
there's
the
spares.
time.
Yeah, yeah, we're back there.
I got 22 trucks ordered.
Yeah, that dealership was saying a year to a year and a half.
We ordered them
Yeah,
10 months ago.
so I might have to get gently used a couple more trucks.
We ordered them 10 months ago.
Any other? Anybody got anything to address on the rest of it? Let's see.
I will make these changes and at our meeting Monday night, I will give y'all a brand new budget. On this,
Bottom number should change from 18,272 to 15,272.
And just real quick, before we wrap this up, on 1263213 and the dot one, which is the other water, other sewer.
Yeah,
Yep,
So I don't know if you guys remember, last year I told you I had to learn a very hard lesson this year. Last year I told you I didn't understand what that was for or why I needed it. Well, this year, if it wasn't for a couple of y'all donating waters and Gatorades all year, we were in trouble. So I'm accounting for that, couple meals, things like that.
I'm glad you
whatever.
brought that up because that is important. We had a very difficult time finding Gatorade.
Yeah,
And I've got a connection now. We'd already made one purchase of like 20 cases or
it
something.
was 27 cases. of
Yeah,
Gatorade.
but I had a hookup at Brookshire's. I think they were gonna work with me a better price. But you said we didn't really need it now, because our highs this week is gonna be.
Well, next week's gonna be in the 80s.
Yeah.
They're saying this is a weird early cold front.
Yeah,
Have you ever used the mixes? I was at Lowe's, Sunday, and if you're going to the checkout, they had the mixes there.
We used to, but the reason why we got away from the mixes is because the guys don't really think sometimes, and they're working the sewer and run over there and pour on some Gatorade, and next thing you know, they're out for a week.
well, they got that
Well-
liquid stuff. That's what I use. I just had my water as a liquid, just one squirt.
Yeah, but we also tried it too, Michael, even the individuals to go into the.
Yeah,
And what we found happening, remember, is they weren't being taken care of.
yeah.
Well,
And it wasn't on purpose, it's just you get to working and something's in a truck and it gets knocked in the floorboard, or it's just not
Right.
practical.
I
That's
get
real
it.
practical if you've got if you're going to if you're in the office, it's
Yeah.
practical, really practical.
But
Yeah,
if you're in the field.
But what these guys needed, a lid and a drink.
yeah.
I mean, they're not out here trying to figure out how to make cocktails in the field. It's kind of tough to do, so.
Right.
No, excuse, don't let them guys run out of that. You and I have had a conversation. There's no
And I
reason
appreciate
you ought to be out of water or Gatorade.
I will say that those cans, you would think everyone, that's common knowledge, but there were some eyebrows and I got that phone call about those cans in the field and people telling me, how are you gonna let them boys drink that? I said, what, that good water? You know, so,
Well, they're Budweiser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, all the guys one day had just wrapped up a week. They all went to the cooler. They all got a can, and this older lady stopped and told me she thought it was terrible that I was allowing them to do that right there on the side of the road. And I said, ma'am, and I held the can up and she said, oh, that ain't water in there. And she got on down the road. So anyways, it made it interesting. So, but
Yeah,
grateful,
we-
grateful.
I'm glad.
They
you
loved
brought that up, 'cause we do need something for the guys. This was a hard year. a hard
Yeah.
Summer.
Well, that's why I wanted to point that out to you guys, that I'm thinking about that now. Could have been thinking about that last year, so luckily I had a few people say this.
I think we've done real well on the budget that we're in now for this year. I think everybody's done an outstanding job in cost cutting and minimizing the cost as much as possible. I think some of the best budgets I've seen in a long time.
We're definitely getting better and more efficient.
So is there any other comments, questions, or concerns regarding the water budget? Then I would call on number 7, adjourn. We have a motion.
Make a motion with adjourn.
Leon, Chris, all in favor?
Leon Meyer.
Pam Reed.
Per can.
Yeah. Too hard. Good. I figured 2 hours, but
Well, last year y'all kept me there all night, so.
well, that was nice last year.
We never worked on it about
Oh, the final preparation is what that stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of like auto body work, you know. Car only turns out as good as the body work.
Yeah.
You can do the body work, but don't look like a. Here, how much paint you put on it.
I know. Yeah, I don't stop that.
Let's do it. Why can't we get it? I'm very well.